And we welcome you to SportsNetUSA.net as we get set for Golden West Rustler football here on SportsNetUSA.net. The Rustlers take a trip down south to face on the Southwestern Jaguars here on a Saturday evening as we get set for kickoff. Golden West will be in their white uniform tops with black pants, and they'll have green numerals outlined in yellow. And then on the other side for the Jaguars, they're going with their all-black home uniforms that they just introduced this last season. They will be going with maroon numerals, gold helmets, and gold trim as well, as Golden West is going to be receiving the kickoff, going from right to left, and Southwestern will be kicking off from left to right. Back deep for the Rustlers will end up being Iman Lavoie, and he'll be joined out there by Justin Hintz. Those are the two deep back for Golden West College, as Asher Booth gets set to kick it away, the main kicker for the Jaguars this season. Right-footed boot, points off to the sideline. Everyone is set and ready to go as we get set for Golden West football here on SportsNetUSA.net. The kick is up, the kick is away, and it's going to go into the arms of Lavoie. Lavoie is going to go down the far side of the field, gets to the hash mark, gets taken down right about the 17-yard line, and that is where Golden West will start their first offensive possession of the night. Flag all the way back at the 30-yard line, so we might get a re-kick here, as the white hat says that it's going to be offsides on the kicking team, so it will go against the Jaguars. And first down, Golden West. They'll tack it on to the end of the run. Actually, they're going to end up redoing the kickoff. So initially, they signaled that they would end up marking it off after the kick was done. Instead, they will march it back to the 30-yard line, where all these special teams players for both sides are going to hop back onto the field. Again, Asher Booth will kick it away. It's going to be Hintz joined by Lavoie back deep to receive for the Rustlers. Rustlers right to left in white and black, and the Jaguars from left to right in black, maroon, and gold. The Rustlers entering this one in the top 10 in the CCCAA rankings, and they are 4-1. Again, that big-time win over RCC. They repeated that 37-20 score over Long Beach a couple weeks ago. Go into the bye at 4-1, and looking for a chance to get off on the right foot as they enter conference play. Booth, a little bit shorter of a run up to this one. Again, he'll be kicking from the 30-yard line this time, as Southwestern was charged for an offsides a few moments ago. This is going to go back to Lavoie, and he'll receive it at the 14-yard line. Runs right down the middle, tries to change sides on the field. Other hash mark where he will get downed at the 20, make it the 34-yard line. And that is where Golden West will start their first possession of this evening. Golden West Rustler football here on SportsNetUSA.net. I am Ryan Osborn, joined by Ed Ford over to my left as we get set for the first offensive possession for Golden West, and it will be led by none other than Mr. Retzlaff. Jake Retzlaff, 1,113 yards passing to this point. He has been the leader offensively for the Rustlers. In the backfield, he's going to bring up Mike Carrillo. Carrillo will get the handoff and immediately gets taken down, as he is going to be brought down in the backfield by Fuamatu. So Fuamatu is there to take him down, and that will be a loss of 4 yards. So first down, actually make it about 13 to go from the 31-yard line. They've got to gain the 44. Carrillo is going to go back into the backfield. Pistol formation for Retzlaff as he calls things out. Near side of the field, Tanner Branson is going to go into the slot on the left. He'll be joined out there by Robbie Saval. To the far side, they're going to get a receiver in Kennewell. Kennewell makes the catch. He will get up to the sticks, and he will end up getting the first down. So very quickly, Golden West gets their first moving of the chains tonight. And the Golden West Rustlers will set up shop at the 45-yard line, their own 45. Out wide, out to the left is John Ojalabi, one of the top two receivers for this Rustlers group. Slot near side is Branson. Far side just a few moments ago is Kennewell. He's joined by Saval. Handoff right up the middle. Carrillo is going to gain about 3 yards, and that will make it a second down at 7 to go. Carrillo, 5'9" freshman out of Garden Grove High School, brings it up to the 48-yard line. Second down and about 7. Again, pistol formation for the Golden West Rustlers. Carrillo in the backfield, near side Branson. Going back to pass is Retzlaff. He will find a receiver on the far side, and Kennewell again. So Kennewell very quickly has 2 receptions for about 17 yards, and he brings them up to the 47-yard line. Now you're looking at a 3rd and just about 2 for the Rustlers as they try and move up the field on their first offensive possession of the game. They received the ball off the kickoff, and the Rustlers going with 3 wide once again. Third play that they'll go with three receivers, as this will go to Carrillo, and he gets stuffed right at the line of scrimmage. Might have lost one, actually, and that is a big-time defensive stop. It will be credited to Jariah Jackson, as he was the first one in the backfield, and that will force Golden West to punt. So for the first time today, we will end up seeing Andrew Guzman. Guzman, to this point in the season, has had 26 punts for 945 yards and a long of 46. He'll kick it away, gets a left boot to it, and that's going to go all the way back to the 10, where a fair catch is going to be made by Escano, and that is a well-done punt there by Guzman. So he gets them right to the 10-yard line, and that is where Southwestern will start off their night, as you are watching Golden West football here on SportsNetUSA.net. Ryan Osborn, Ed Ford joining you live from Chula Vista, California, as the Southwestern Jaguars have their first offensive possession of the night. Jaguars going from left to right. They're going to end up getting the snap, a pitch play off to the left, where it will go into the awaiting arms of Robinson, and he gets stuffed after a loss of 2. This Jaguars offense, it's kind of a toss-up as to who you will see in the backfield taking the snaps. They've had 3 different players, 3 different QBs who have taken snaps for this squad. And right now, they're going with Dominic Anderson in the backfield. So their 4th different QB so far, as this is going to be tossed out to the far side, caught, and it will be brought down for a first down, as on the far side of the field, it will be Donnell Fraser with the catch. Southwestern now switching things up. They're going to bring in Jimmy Inman. Inman so far this year, 43% passing-wise. He'll take it back. Left-handed tosser over to Escano. Escano makes one guy miss, gets all the way up to the 29-yard line, and that's a gain of 9 yards on first down. So Escano is going to go into the slot on the far side of the field. He'll be joined out there by Christian Jourdain, and Jourdain is one of the stars for the Southwestern team. Last week, or in the last game for Southwestern, 122 yards receiving. This is going to be a takedown there by Alex Reich, who gets into the backfield in time. A loss of 4 yards. A flag comes flying in, however, and that is going to allow for the Golden West Rustlers to force them into what initially looked like a 3rd down and 5 to go, but it looks like this will be against the Rustlers, offside specifically, and that brings up another first down. So the Rustlers jump just a shade too early, and that gives the second first down of the game to the Jaguars. Inman goes back to take the snap for them. 4 games, 242 yards. He hands it off. Robinson takes it up the middle, and he will end up getting taken down just at the line of scrimmage. Tried to go to the far side of the field, got a block, but could not escape the awaiting arms of Reich, who was in on the tackle once more. That's one thing that you'll notice for this Golden West Rustlers squad is that Alex Reich will be everywhere on the field. He is a leader for this team. Albert Robinson will be in the backfield off to the right. Inman moves Escano in the slot. He's going to swing over to the right side, tries to take one step up and gets taken down. Golden West gets in the backfield with Josue Alexander, and he gets another sack to his credit. That is 4 for him this season. Had a couple in that game against Long Beach, and all of a sudden, he marches them back for a 3rd down and about 15 to go. They're going to officially say it's a 3rd down and 17 to be exact. They've got to get up to the 49-yard line, make it the 44, excuse me. 3 wide, Robinson in the backfield, back goes Inman. He's looking for a receiver, doesn't have one, now moving his way up the field. He gets taken down, and Golden West will force a 4th down as Ismael Souza is there. Ball gets away for a moment. They're going to say that Inman was in fact down at the 30-yard line. Some confusion after the play as Inman thought that he had landed on Souza and kept running on the near side of the field. But the officials say, nope, the knee was down right at the 30-yard line, and that will march back the Southwestern Jaguars. So both of these two teams not able to get on the board with their first possessions of the game, and Southwestern is going to kick it away. This year, punting-wise, Justin McElliott, 29 punts, 1,020 yards to his credit. Once he has brought it inside the 20. Back to receive will end up being Lavoie. Ball gets kicked up. Nice spiral going all the way to the 30. Lavoie calls fire. That takes a very friendly hop for Southwestern, and it will mark it down at the 14-yard line. So a beautiful punt there. That goes for McElligott. And he is able to pin pin the Golden West Rustlers to their own 14. A punt of 56 yards. That brings back Jake Retzlaff. Retzlaff, the right-handed thrower with 4 wide. Near side of the field, he's going to go with Ojalabi in addition to Branson. Far side is Kenneman. Calling things out, he's going to end up marking back the offense. Fakes a handoff, actually is going to give it up. And that is going to end up being a run for Gianni Hurd, who leads this team in rushing so far. And he gets a total of 1 yard on that play. Went off tackle, off to the right, and ends up finding 1 yard. So closer to the far hash mark, that's where the Rustlers are set up. Far side of the field is Saval. Retzlaff moves everyone around. He's going to end up bringing over Kennewell. Near side, it's going to go right to the hands of Ojalabi. And as he takes a slant to the near side hash mark, he will end up gaining about 12 yards on the play and bring up a 1st down for Golden West. Ojalabi so far this year has been very good receiving-wise for this Golden West Rustlers team, specifically 17 receptions to this point, make it 18 for 221 yards. Ojalabi near side. They're going to go with Branson in the slot off to the right. Fake the handoff, back to Ojalabi, tries to go for yards after catch, but he will only gain the 6 yards after taking the reception. Nice job by Southwestern to be able to wrap him up as soon as they possibly could. Getting the tackle there ended up being Donnell Frazier. Escano will be on Ojalabi on the near side of the field. Watching things on the far side will end up being Demetrius Warren. Here's a handoff right up the middle. That's going to be stuffed. In on the tackle to start things off will be Ulrich Naki. And Naki gets the tackle, and he will make it no gain for the Rustlers. Quick moving first quarter, 6.5 left to go. No score between Golden West and Southwestern here on SportsNetUSA.net. Ryan Osborn, Ed Ford, live from Chula Vista. Four wide, Branson, far side of the field, joined by Kennewell. Snap is taken. It will be tossed over towards Branson, in and out of his hands. Goes right off his fingertips as he was right at the sticks, but just a shade of an overthrow, and it will force the second punt of the game for Golden West. So Golden West initially, in each of their last two drives, has been able to get that initial first down, but they haven't been able to keep those sticks moving after getting the chains to move. That's going to bring up a punt for Golden West as Guzman had a good one the first time. He will put a boot to this one. Going back is Escano, and at the 28-yard line, he will make a fair catch. And Southwestern has their second offensive possession of the night coming up. We'll see who the Jaguars end up bringing out for their second offensive possession at QB. As for right now, it looks like Inman is going to end up being there for them. Inman calling things out. Off on the far side of the field is Jourdain. Into the slot will be Dorsey. He tries to go for Jourdain far side, and that is going to be a pass interference call. Not able to believe it there is Malachi Gatewood. Gatewood was there on the initial coverage, but runs into Jourdain as he was trying to streak past him. Both of them collide and fall to the turf, and it will end up being a pass interference against the Rustlers, which should mark it off about 15 yards. Near side is Jaquan Dorsey. Far side of the field will be Jourdain. In the slot on the right is Kahanu Davis. Going back to pass will be Inman. He ends up getting it away to Dorsey. Dorsey gains a whole 1 yard on the play, and he will get himself up to the 44-yard line. Inman was feeling the pressure as Josue Alexander was in there for a moment. So was Sousa. And he had to get that football away as quickly as he possibly could. So near side is Dorsey. In the slot on the left-hand side will end up being Jourdain. Inman trying to run with it. He ends up getting right to the sideline where he will be pushed out of bounds. Steps out of bounds actually at the 45. Thought initially that he had the 49-yard line, but the near side official says that he did not keep his right foot in bounds. Arnold Escano in the slot on the left-hand side. Dorsey near side. Jourdain wide to the left. Snap is taken. Inman, left-handed thrower, goes back. He's going to look to the far side of the field where he has a receiver, and it will go into the awaiting arms of Terry Wright. Wright makes the catch, gets up to the 47-yard line, and that's it. Golden West defense once again is able to force a punt coming up, and neither of these two teams are able to get their offenses going here in the first quarter with under 4:35 to play in the first frame. So McElligott is going to get this one away once more. Had a 56-yard punt in his first try. Sees the snap, gets the punt off just in time as there was some pressure there. Lavoie trying to catch up to it. He makes a fair catch from his knees at the 18, make it the 19-yard line. And this is the third opportunity for Golden West to get themselves on the board. 4:15 left to go here in the first quarter. You are watching Golden West Rustler football here on SportsNetUSA.net. As Retzlaff goes back out there. Last two times that the Golden West Rustlers have had an opportunity to have the football. They get a first down to start and then haven't been able to keep converting. Retzlaff with 3 wide on the left-hand side, hands it off to Carrillo. Carrillo's going to dance for a second, and he will get himself right up to the 29-yard line. That's where he will be marked down. That's actually going to be Jared Johnson as the third running back for the Rustlers in 3 offensive possessions marches out there. Ojalabi near side of the field, joined by Branson. Far side is Kennewell and Saval. Retzlaff looking for Ojalabi. He has him at the sideline, gets up to the 30, make it the 34, and he is marked out, they'll say, at the 32-yard line. And that will be a first down for Golden West. So now the question is, can the Rustlers keep it going? They're able to get initial early yardage, but now they switch things up and they go with Ojalabi on the near side of the field in single-man coverage. He'll be going up against Pablo Araya, who is the leading tackler for the Southwestern Jaguars. Far side is Branson, Saval, and Kennewell. Taking the snap is Retzlaff. He looks deep, going towards the far side. He's got a man, and it's caught into the awaiting arms of the Golden West Rustlers. That will end up being Timothy Christopher, not Timothy Christopher. That will end up being Kennewell on the far side of the field. He gets the touchdown, and Golden West will end up taking a 6-0 lead. So a huge toss for Retzlaff as he comes right back, fakes to Ojalabi on the near side. Kennewell is able to get himself open on the initial jab step towards the sideline, and he gets a deep touchdown for these Rustlers. So a 68-yard strike for the Golden West Rustlers to make it 7-0. Golden West with the lead here on SportsNetUSA.net. Retzlaff found Kennewell in stride, and there was no one within at least 20 yards of him by the time that he catches up to that football, and it's right to the chest. And a beautiful strike there that was delivered by Retzlaff. So the Golden West Rustlers get on the board with 3:07 left to go in the first quarter of play. And it's 7-0 Rustlers. Cypress is going to kick this one away. So the Rustlers will kick it away over to our left. Up to the 5-yard line, it will be Sean Bryant who takes it from the 20 up to the 25. They will actually mark him out at the 22. So Southwestern looking for a chance to have a reply here. Down 7-0 to Golden West. You're watching Golden West College football here on SportsNetUSA.net. So Southwestern with Terry Wright near side of the field. They are joined by Inman, who fires a strike over to the far side where it will go to Terry Wright. Wright makes the catch and gets decked immediately. Araya with the tackle there. Three down linemen for the Rustlers, faking that they're going to go with the blitz. They do bring everybody near side of the field. A guy misses on Escano, and now he's finally going to be wrapped up there by Elisha Martin. Martin makes the tackle, and that will be a total gain of about 2 yards. So 3rd down and 5 to go for Southwestern. Inman, the left-handed quarterback, who is a threat to run as well. So far this season, 242 yards entering the day. Overall in the air and then on the ground, he has rushed it 20 times for a total of 2 yards. Inman goes back, looks for a receiver, tries to find Ascano. It's intercepted, taken away by the Golden West Rustlers. It is picked off by Neal. Kylan Neal with the takeaway, and Golden West is cooking, off and running at their 25-yard line. It gets returned for 24 yards, a pick, and some terrific field position coming up for the Golden West Rustlers. Inman was trying to find Ascano, streaking down towards the middle. Couldn't end up getting it to him in stride, but taking one step up was Neal, and he ends up making the catch. Takes it away and brings it 21 yards up the field. So now Golden West has an excellent chance here to get back on the board. Back deep in coverage is Michael Harrington on the near side of the field. It goes up to Carrillo. Carrillo makes one guy miss, gets into the secondary for a moment, and he gets all the way up to the 15-yard line. Another first down for these Golden West Rustlers, as they have an opportunity to get themselves right back on the board just a few minutes, just about a minute and a half to be exact, after getting the initial score. That's 66-yard strike for Retzlaff to Kennewell. Retzlaff with Carrillo in the backfield. Near side is Branson and Ojalabi. Carrillo goes to his right, is going to take a delayed handoff. Left-hand side, tries to find the sideline. He will get taken out at the 2-yard line. Nope, they'll mark it back at the 3.5. Nonetheless, Golden West is within striking distance inside the 5-yard line, where they've got that first and goal coming up with 1 minute on the clock exactly. 7-0, Golden West with the lead. Branson on the far side, joined by Kennewell. Ojalabi near side. Carrillo directly behind Retzlaff as he will get set to take the snap. It goes up to Carrillo. Nope, it's going to be Retzlaff as he brings it into his own chest, and he will end up losing 3 yards on the play. And it gets marked back at the 7-yard line. Our score 7-0 with under 30 seconds to play. Golden West with the football, a second down and goal to go at the 7-yard line, as it looks like that's going to end up marching us out to the end of the first quarter, where Golden West has a 7-0 lead over top of Southwestern here on SportsNetUSA.net. Ryan Osborn and Ed Ford, as we are on the call here in Chula Vista, where the Golden West Rustlers are threatening to score once more. They had a big-time play from Retzlaff a few moments ago that got them that initial lead, and now all of a sudden they are back inside the 10-yard line. Interception was made by Neal, and Golden West got a 21-yard return on it. And for the defense of the Rustlers, that is their 5th interception of the season. Everyone's going to switch sides over to our right, as Golden West will march out Retzlaff once more. Jaguars defense trying to prevent themselves from being down 2 scores early in the first half. Defensive line for Southwestern. Looking at an opportunity to stuff these Rustlers. They did it just a few moments ago with Retzlaff, causing him to lose 3 yards on an option play. Kennewell is out there. Carrillo going over to the right, going into motion is Savao. Savao off to the left, they're looking for him. It's going to go right down the middle to Ojalabi, who makes the catch for a touchdown. However, a flag is thrown. It might be offensive pass interference that will end up being going against Kennewell, as he set, we'll say, an intentional screen on the far side against Ojalabi's defender, and it looked like it was Harrington who was trying to get himself into position to defend that pass. But for Golden West, that is going to march them back quite a bit. A whole 15 yards to the 22-yard line. So Golden West, 22-yard line. Goal to go. They've got Retzlaff in the pocket. He's going to take a 3-step drop, looking for someone. He's got a guy over the middle. Ojalabi once again. Nope, it's Branson. Branson at the 2-yard line is able to make the catch. They'll mark him down even closer. He's within about 6 inches of the goal line as Golden West is once again oh so close to the end zone. And all it took for Branson was one quick move towards the left sideline. He switches back towards the post, and he is able to find himself some open real estate. Presents the target for Retzlaff, who hits him right in stride, makes the catch, and that is going to bring them to the essentially 1-yard line. It's inside of that. 7-0, the Rustlers lead it, trying to extend that lead here. Carrillo with Kennewell, joined by Ojalabi. This is going to go over towards the left. Branson in his hands. Touchdown, Golden West. No flags on the play, and that is going to be a Rustler touchdown. That goes to Branson as he makes the over-the-shoulder catch to bring it to a 13-0 advantage for Golden West. So that is another touchdown strike from Retzlaff. And after the first 2 possessions for Golden West don't end up necessarily having the most success, they had to punt on both of them as the kick is up. Kick is good by Cypress, and he will make it a 14-0 ball game. But just a moment ago, talking about those first 2 offensive possessions for Golden West, not so successful as they had to punt on each of them. Guzman got them some decent field position to work with defensively. But then all of a sudden, all it took was one 66-yard touchdown strike from Retzlaff to Kennewell to open things up. They get the interception. They're able to capitalize on it. So it's points off a turnover as well for Golden West. And they find themselves with a 2-score advantage with 14-11 left to go in the first half. So a chance for Cypress to kick it away. Cypress this season, 17, make it 18 of 20. Exactly 90% on extra points, and he adds to his totals here. Taken near side of the field, it will be brought up by Jourdain, and he cannot extend the play after that, and that is going to bring out the Rustler defense once more. .21-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Southwestern Jaguars. They're going to bring back Inman. Scano near side, taking a look at things as Inman will look to hand it off. He finds a guy in Coleman. Coleman will bring it up about 4 yards, and he will get brought down there by Sousa. Coleman out there with Dominic Anderson. Anderson coming into this game only 3 yards rushing. Actually, excuse me, 14 yards rushing on 3 rushing attempts, averaging about 4.7 yards per carry. He'll get the carry here, gets wrapped up and immediately taken down. Rustler defense with Sele Pemasa gets to him in the backfield, so that's going to be a 3rd down and 8 to go. They've got to get up to the 31-yard line. Inman will find Jourdain near side of the field. Albert Robinson out there as well, takes a look, far side, nearly picked off. A chance there, as leaping into the air was Reich. He was also out there with Dakota Hart, and Hart is able to make sure that doesn't end up landing in a receiver's hand. Might have gone off his fingertips. Prince Ford had the defense there as well, and that is another punt coming up for these Jaguars, as going back to receive will be Lavoie. Lavoie on punt returns has brought back a total of 7 for 36 yards. Booted away. Lavoie is going to see it bounce at the 50-yard line. He says fire. Everyone gets away for Golden West, and it will march all the way down to the 27-yard line. So McElligott is doing an excellent job of punting for Southwestern, giving their defense a chance. It's a matter of whether or not they can stop Retzlaff and this offense. For Retzlaff and the Golden West Rustlers trying to make it 3 straight drives with the score. 12:54 left to go in the second quarter, 14-0. Golden West with the lead. Near side of the field for the Golden West Rustlers, going with Kennewell. Far side is Ojalabi and Branson. Roll out over to the left, it goes to Saval, and Saval will get himself about 5 yards on the play, and he'll march it down to the 32-yard line. Little pitch forward, shovel pass, if you will, from Retzlaff over to Saval. Design movement there as Saval was on the right side of the offensive line, waits for a second, and then rolls with Retzlaff. They shovel it forward for a gain of 5. 2nd down and 5 to go. Ojalabi on the far side with Saval. Near side is Branson and Kennewell. Kennewell with Harrington on him. It is going to be a fake handoff, and off the play action, Ojalabi sees that one go right over top of him, and it will be a 3rd down and 5. Harrington, joined by Jaheim Williams, and both Sola brothers on the defensive line. Williams is back at the 44-yard line, watching things as the Rustlers have to get up to the 38. Dropping back will be Retzlaff. He's got to roll out over to his right, looking for a teammate. He finds someone in Kennewell. Kennewell with excellent room to run. He's still going down to the 30-yard line. They will end up marking him down at the 32, and Golden West is in business once again. Retzlaff finding himself a little open room and a strike on the near sideline. He will find Kennewell and make it a big-time gain of just about 37 yards. So exactly what the Rustlers needed on 3rd down, and that was one of the big things coming into this game, is the Rustlers on 3rd down, whether or not they were able to extend drives. For a second, that ball pops out, goes right back into the awaiting arms of Retzlaff. Nice concentration there by Retzlaff to make sure that he kept it in his arms. And now Golden West with a 2nd down and 11 to go. In the backfield for Golden West, they're going to go with Gianni Hurd, 301 yards rushing, averaging about 60 yards per game. He's got 2 touchdowns. Near side is Kennewell, who has been a big threat for the Rustlers in the first half. Already has a touchdown, and he will see this go over to Hurd. Hurd breaking one tackle, getting out into the secondary, up to the 19, 18-yard line, and he will have a 1st down. So we were just mentioning Hurd and how he had those 301 yards, averaging about 6 yards per carry. He's going to tack on more to those totals and immediately get subbed off for Jared Johnson. Now Golden West with a chance inside the red zone once more at the 18-yard line, a 1st down and 10 to go. Got to get up to the 8 to get themselves a 1st down. Retzlaff takes the snap, looking for a teammate. He's got one, cutting right across the middle. It goes into the waiting arms of Torrance Wiseman, and Wiseman will make the catch with 10:24 on the clock here in the first half. It's 14-0. The Rustlers with the lead. Two touchdown passes for Retzlaff to this point. Looking to add to it here. The offense will take the snap. Johnson up the middle, tries to make one guy miss, bounces over towards the left side of the offensive line, and he will end up getting taken down after a gain of 1. So Golden West will bring back in Hurd, as the Golden West Rustlers will have Ojalabi on the far side of the field, Kennewell on the near side, Branson in the slot on the far side. Going back is Retzlaff. He's going to be pressured and taken down for a sack. Trouble initially on the play as Golden West saw that ball go into the arms of Retzlaff and to the turf. He picked it up, tried to roll out to his left, and immediately gets wrapped up and taken down for a loss of just about 5 to 6 yards. And that will end up bringing up a field goal attempt for Cypress. He'll be taking it from the 25-yard line. Golden West looks like they're going to have to burn a timeout here as they tried to march someone out onto the field at the very last moment. And with the timeout, Golden West, 8:54 on the clock here in the second quarter of play. 14-0, the Rustlers with the lead over Southwestern. You are watching Golden West College football here on SportsNetUSA.net. And we want to remind you that all games here on SportsNetUSA.net brought to you by Miller Toyota of Anaheim. Miller Toyota of Anaheim, if you're looking for that new or used vehicle, just go down to the corner of Euclid and the 91. Miller Toyota of Anaheim supports high school sports, community college sports, and most of all, education. That is Miller Toyota of Anaheim. So Golden West looking for a chance to get themselves on the board once again. Jake Cypress so far this year is 6 of 8 in terms of kicking field goals. He will be kicking this one away from exactly the 25-yard line. So you tack on the 10 from the end zone. That's 35, plus 7 as well, looking at an opportunity to make it 17-0. Ball gets away, it's up, and it is good. Cypress once again is able to tack it on through, and he is now 7 of 9 this season, looking at about 80 or 81%. That's another score for Golden West. They get back on the board, 17-0. The Golden West Rustlers with the lead. You're watching Golden West College football here on SportsNetUSA.net. Ryan Osborn, Ed Ford live from Chula Vista as Golden West, again, their first 2 offensive opportunities didn't look so great. They had to punt as they weren't able to get yardage on 2nd and 3rd down. And then all of a sudden things changed with that big 66-yard strike, the interception right behind it. And they're able to force the Jaguars to punt once again, and they use that big play to get themselves some momentum once more. That 37-yard catch and run that went to Kennewell on the near side of the field extended the drive for Golden West as they were backed up inside their own 30, and then all of a sudden found themselves at the opponent's 38-yard line. Ball goes all the way to the far side of the field where it will be picked up, taken down for a moment, actually switching sides and finding a lot of room to work with is Sean Bryant. And Bryant has himself a return up to the 26-yard line. However, a flag goes flying at the 10. And we'll see what the call is going to be from the White Hat. It is going to be block in the back that is going to go against the Jaguars. So they'll march it back about half the distance to the goal, which will take it all the way back to the 7-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Jaguars from the 7 as the Golden West defense is going to march back out there. In there for Golden West. Defensively on the right-hand side of the defense will end up being Manuzzi. This goes to the near side of the field where a immediate wrap-up will take place from Malachi Gatewood. Gatewood so far, Malachi Gatewood has been fantastic in terms of locking down the #1 receiver for the Jaguars in Christian Jourdain. Jourdain entered this game with 310 yards receiving and averaging about 14.8 yards per catch. Inman back out there for the Jaguars. Here's Neal coming in on the right side. They're going to go to the far side of the field looking for a teammate to pass to. Will be Inman, and that will be incomplete. Far side of the field making the defense is Tyler Williams, as he tried to get it over to Dorsey, but it goes in and out of the hands of Dorsey. We've actually got a quarterbacking change, it looks like initially, for Southwestern. Looks like it could be Brandon Smith who goes out there. He's got 235 yards passing. Snap is taken, rolling over to his right, looking for a teammate. He finds Jourdain. Wrapping him up immediately is Lavoie. And that is going to be an overall gain of 4.5 yards. So a third down coming up. Actually make it fourth, as Southwestern not able to capitalize once again. And the terrific field position for Golden West that is caused by that block in the back penalty allows for them to get Lavoie an excellent chance to return this ball forward. McElligott to kick it away. He's done a nice job in this one. Everyone going forward for Golden West. This is going to go to the near side of the field where it will find Lavoie. Lavoie looking for a teammate to run behind. He will get himself up to the 45-yard line of Southwestern, and that is where he will be taken down. So Golden West with another chance to get on the board with 7:07 left to go here in the second quarter. It is 17-0. The Rustlers with the lead over the Jaguars. You're watching Golden West Rustler football here on SportsNetUSA.net. Don't forget to stay right here on SportsNetUSA.net and keep up to date with all of the community college football action that will be taking place in the upcoming weeks. LA Valley football, East LA, Fullerton College, and Golden West, all live here on SportsNetUSA.net. A leader for community college football right here, SportsNetUSA.net. Rustlers back on the field. They look for Retzlaff. Retzlaff right down the middle, directly behind Branson, and it will go incomplete. Harrington was there on the coverage for the Jaguars. Retzlaff with Johnson behind him. He'll take the snap, hand it off to Johnson. Johnson makes one guy miss, gets into the second level, and he will end up gaining 5 on the play. Make it 6 as it will get up to the 39-yard line. On the field for the Rustlers, you've got Retzlaff at quarterback, Johnson in the backfield, Branson in the slot on the right side, joined by Kennewell. Far side will end up being Torrance Wiseman. Snap is taken. Retzlaff right down the middle. That is going to be a wrap-up and an incompletion as he tries to give it over to Branson. Great job on the coverage by Jaheim Williams. Branson has been that guy for Retzlaff that he can go to get some quick yardage, but on that play gets up to the sticks and can't keep it in his arms. Again, a great job by Williams, because Williams was there right as that ball was entering the chest of Branson. 4 wide, 3 on the near side as Johnson goes to the right as well. Retzlaff drops back, looking for a teammate. He's going to go to the far side of the field where no flag will be thrown. Harrington on the coverage, and trying to get to that football was Anderson, but there was nowhere to go for Retzlaff as he tried to bring it over towards the far sideline. Leave it for his receiver, but that will be a turnover on downs for the Golden West Rustlers. So a chance for the Rustlers to get themselves an extended lead at 17-0. Get it beyond that with 6:21 left to go in the second quarter. ends up going awry, and it looks like a timeout will end up being taken by the Southwestern Jaguars. That is their first of the half. 17-0 with 6:21 left to go in the first half of play between Golden West and Southwestern. You are watching Golden West College football here on SportsNetUSA.net. So to this point, Golden West with 3 successful drives in a row to get themselves on the board and make it 17-0, excuse me. Back-to-back touchdown drives, then they got a field goal, but here they just weren't able to convert on 4th down. Everyone looking for a flag on Branson as he tried to go across the middle of the field, but just wasn't able to get that ball to stay in his arms. That was on 3rd down. So now the Rustler defense will march out there. And Smith will end up taking the snap. There's a chance for him to move up the field, tried to get it over to his left where he immediately gets taken down by Sousa. Sousa was in on the tackle, as was Kofel. East LA College currently trailing Allen Hancock with 42 seconds left to go, 31-23. That's also here on SportsNetUSA.net. You can watch the end of that one and watch this one as well. Dropping back to pass, here's a chance for a run on the near side that will be taken down and stopped by Dakota Hart. Southwestern going with Jalen Crowell as their new quarterback. Crowell had not had an opportunity to take snaps at QB for the Jaguars this season. So this is his first opportunity to see the field and get some stats on the board for himself. Kind of a dual threat quarterback, listed as more of a runner than a thrower. He'll take the snap, drops back, looking for a teammate. He's got the near side where it will go over top of Alex Reich and out of bounds. He was trying to find Jourdain, but it was too far over top of his head, and it was an uncatchable ball for anyone. Reich turned around, looked for it. He was the only one in position possibly to make that catch, but it goes over him, and it will be a 3-and-out for the Jaguars once again with 4:58 left to go here in the second quarter. Lavoie is going to go back, and for McElligott, this will be his 4th punt of the game, and it's still in the first half. 17-0 is our score. The Rustlers with the lead. McElligott will kick it away. He gets it high into the air where Lavoie on the near side will find it right at the 28. And they will mark him down at the 28. So no gain for him as he will end up getting another punt return to his stats, but doesn't end up adding to the yardage. 4:51 left to go in the second quarter, 17-0. It is the Rustlers up over top of Southwestern here on SportsNetUSA.net. Some out-of-town scoreboard updates. Ventura 16, Long Beach 7 with 9:12 left to go in the first half there. And then Bakersfield and College of the Canyons coming down to under 7 minutes to play there. Canyons 14, Bakersfield 7. Thank you to Ed Ford for the out-of-town scores. As the Jaguars bluff that they're going to bring everyone, they bring it up to Kennewell off the toss from Retzlaff, and he's able to get a gain of 14 yards. Kennewell has been a threat for these Rustlers in the first half of play. 68-yard touchdown reception, a haul-in of over 35, and he's got 14 there. Looking at nearly 120 yards in the first half of play only. Handoff will go to Carrillo. Carrillo gets 2, and he gets taken down. Faumatu will end up making the tackle there. Defensive line of Sola out there with Fuamatu, excuse me. Arnold Niscano on the far side of the field. Here's Retzlaff. From the 43-yard line, he will give it up to Carrillo. Carrillo into the second level. He will get up to the 50, still going, getting pushed from behind. And his progress will be stopped at the 49-yard line. That will move the sticks, and a big applause from the far side of the field where the Rustlers sideline is for the second effort on that, as he just kept churning the legs, moving forward, and wouldn't allow for that pile to stop him. 3.5 left to play here in the first half. 17-0, the Rustlers with the lead. Retzlaff. Behind him is Carrillo. He's got 4 receivers. He's got Branson in addition to Kennewell and Ojalabi. Wiseman in the slot on the left-hand side. It will go as a handoff. Left hand getting 1 block, make it 2. Carrillo into the secondary. He will get himself all the way up to the 32-yard line. A flag gets tossed at the 42. Look like where the secondary block was for Carrillo, that is where that flag ends up being thrown, and the Golden West offense is already walking it backwards. And it will end up being a hold going against Golden West. So with 3:04 on the clock, that is going to march them back inside their own territory. The way that this Rustler offense has been able to churn out yards in the first half has been impressive, to say the least. Retzlaff entered this day, completion percentage at just about 58%. 3 on the near side of the field, Branson, Wiseman, Kennewell. Dropping back to pass, he's looking for a teammate. He will sling it forward to Wiseman over top of him, and it is intercepted. Near side of the field, the Jaguars take it away, and moving up into the secondary, up to the 49-yard line, it will be taken away by Williams. Actually make it Donnell Frazier who ends up with the pick. And Frazier with a big return as well. Caught that at about the 24-yard line, marched it all the way down to the 46. 22 yards on the return, and that is the first turnover of the game. Make it the second turnover of the game for Golden West. An excellent field position coming up for Southwestern. Southwestern, near side they've got Jourdain. They are also joined there. As this will go as a run near side of the field, getting into the secondary's Crowell. He will get all the way up to the Golden West Rustler 46-yard line. Receivers on the near side of the field are Jourdain and Terry Wright. Jaquan Dorsey will take over on the far side. Running back is Dominic Anderson. Anderson in the backfield. Crowell will take the snap, looking for Anderson right up the middle. He ends up getting past 1 and finally gets taken down after a gain of 4. Hard churning 4 there as Sele Pemasa is able to make the tackle. Ball up to the 43-yard line, make it a 43.5 or so. Actually right on the 43 as the defense for Golden West is trying to stop Southwestern from getting on the board before this first half ends. 1:35 on the clock in the second quarter. Taking the snap is Crowell. He's going to try and move up in the pocket. He gets taken down from behind by Josue Alexander. Alexander with 1.5 tackles for loss this season. You can add to it there, as he now has 2.5. As Crowell gets stopped after losing a yard. 1:05 left to go in the first half. There's the drop back, trying to move up. He's got a guy over towards the left. It will end up being incomplete. No pass interference call on the far side. Asking for it was Dorsey. He does not end up getting the call. And that will stop the clock at exactly 59 seconds left here in the first half of play. So Southwestern getting Jalen Crowell, the 6'3", 185 freshman out of San Diego, some reps here, and he's moved them out the field for a first down. Make it 2 of them, actually. He's got Anderson to his right. He'll take the snap. 2-step drop back. It's deflected twice, and that ball is still up for grabs for a moment as it goes off the hands of Kahanu Davis. Was tipped initially. It looked like getting a hand on it was Souza. And it goes as an incomplete pass, and only 5 seconds coming off the clock. So a 4th down, and we'll say 13 yards to go. Southwestern with a decision coming up. Do they want to end up punting it away and pin Golden West deep inside their own territory? They will decide in a moment after taking a timeout. 54.1 left to go in the first half of play. 17-0, Golden West with the lead. You're watching Golden West College football here on SportsNetUSA.net. Reminder that all games here on SportsNetUSA.net are brought to you by the one and only Miller Toyota of Anaheim. You know, the holidays are coming up, and if you're looking for that student of yours or that family member to get around nice and safe and in comfortability and style. Comfortability being a specialty of Corey Nalen, one of those Corey Nalen words that he makes up on Saturdays. You want them to have that comfortability? Go down to Miller Toyota of Anaheim, where you can find that new or used car of your liking. Miller Toyota of Anaheim supports high school sports, community college sports, and most of all, education. That is Miller Toyota of Anaheim, a proud partner of SportsNetUSA.net. Lavoie is going to go back to receive with 54.1 seconds on the clock. McElligott will be kicking from right to left. Most of the Rustler defense is still on the field just in case, with the exception of Lavoie, who is back to receive, and Coach Nick Mitchell is going to take a timeout. So again, our score is 17-0. The Rustlers are up on top. 3 straight drives with a score, touchdown, touchdown, field goal. And with under a minute to play and 1 timeout remaining, they can either just kneel and send us into the end of the first half or try and move the ball up the field as quickly as possible. But for Coach Nick Mitchell, he's got that 17-point advantage. No need to really take any risks here. The number 6 team in the state of California. That is the Golden West Rustlers, 4-1 this season, entering this game. Snap goes back, kick is up, kick is away. It's going to go near side of the field where it will bounce out at the 12-yard line. 47.3 left to go here in the first half of play. Golden West will take over with the football. You're watching Golden West Rustler football here on SportsNetUSA.net. A reminder that here on SportsNetUSA.net, we will be back here at Southwestern this upcoming week next Saturday, as Fullerton is going to make a trip down here to Chula Vista. And then Golden West will end up seeing themselves on the 23rd at home against Saddleback at 1 p.m. Both those games, once again, here on SportsNetUSA.net. So Retzlaff is going to go back there with a 4-receiver set. Kennewell and Wiseman on the near side, Branson and Ojalabi on the far side. Snap is taken. Retzlaff back to pass, still looking for a teammate. He rolls out. He's got to get rid of it, does so, and throws it out of bounds. That is the experience that Retzlaff brings to you, because he was marching back into the end zone, and if he didn't get that ball away, he was being pressured very heavily by that Southwestern defense. In on the pressure was Jace Fuamatu. And he was the one who got in the face of Retzlaff, not giving him a real chance to take a look at what was available to him. Was chasing him down on the far side of the field as well. 2nd down and 10 to go with under 40 seconds to play here in the first half. Back it's Retzlaff. He fires over to Ojalabi, in and out of the hands So with 35.1 on the clock and a 3rd down and 10 to go. Golden West with the entirety of the clock to work with. Ball is on their own 12 here in the second quarter, under a minute to play in the first half. Kennewell out wide to the right. In the slot, he's joined by Saval. Branson in the slot on the left-hand side, the far side, and Ojalabi out wide. This will go up to Carrillo. Carrillo gets a very hard-fought 10 yards, and it looks like he may have enough for the first down. He does indeed. That will allow for the chains to move, and a big-time rush there by Carrillo, who has been kind of an X factor here today, opening things up for the passing lanes for Golden West. Taken back, going to Retzlaff. Retzlaff down the middle. It's Kennewell. He's got another reception and some room to work with 8.4 seconds on the clock. It looks like Coach Nick Mitchell might take a timeout here. The clock stops for a moment since it is a first down to gain. And a flag all the way back at the 10-yard line is going to march it back. So a big gain for Golden West gets taken away. And with a first down and 10 to go, make it a 1st and 20 after the hold. We'll see whether or not Golden West just takes a knee and sends us into the end of the first half. They are in that formation. 8.4 seconds on the clock. Here in the second quarter of play, snap is taken, the kneel is down, and that will bring us to halftime. Our score, 17-0. Golden West with the lead over Southwestern. The number 6 team in the state of California with a nice showing in the first half as they are able to show that they can be electric on offense, have a takeaway defensively as well as they march it into the end of the first half. Our score is 17-0. Golden West with the lead over Southwestern. You're watching Golden West Rustler football here on SportsNetUSA.net. In that first half, just a quick recap as you took a look at the first 2 offensive possessions for both teams. Neither team was able to really get anything going. You saw Golden West get a first down, and then they had to punt. Southwestern, not able to get that first down. They had to punt after a 3-and-out. Golden West gets it right back inside of their own 30-yard line. Well, first down initially, can't get anything going after that. Second and third down was really kind of an Achilles heel for them on those first 2 drives. Then all of a sudden, their next offensive possession, they get a run up the middle, first down. All of a sudden, Retzlaff drops back to pass, finds Kennewell on the far side of the field in stride, no one within 20 yards, and he goes right down to the end zone. Prances in for a 7-0 lead. On the other side, Southwestern not able to get their offense going in the first quarter. They would go drop back for a pass. Inman had a pass right down the middle of the field looking for Jourdain. Wasn't able to get it to him, and instead, it is Kylan Neal who steps in front of it for the interception, brings it back 21 yards, and Golden West is off and running with another chance inside the 35-yard line to go back on offense. They would convert on another touchdown pass just entering the second quarter of play. Their very next offensive possession, they get up the field, weren't able to get into the end zone this time, but they get the field goal and extend it to 17-0. Southwestern, towards the end of the second quarter, was able to start to get their offense going. A couple of consecutive first downs, especially in those last 3 minutes of play, but they weren't able to get themselves on the board. That's the biggest thing for Southwestern, is that if you're going to go up against this number 6 ranked team, it will be a important factor to capitalize on those precious offensive possessions that you have, especially if they're able to take the ball away twice in the first half of play. You see them get the big crucial stop on 4th down to force a turnover on downs for Golden West, and then you get the pick as well. Neither of them convert into points off of turnovers. So we'll get set to step aside here in just a moment. Here at the half, 17-0. Golden West with the lead over Southwestern. You are watching Golden West College football here on SportsNetUSA.net. And we welcome you back to the second half between Golden West and Southwestern. Things start off well for the Rustlers here on the first return of the second half, as the Rustlers special teams is able to show up there, and Southwestern is pinned inside of their own 15-yard line to start off the third quarter of play. In the second quarter, Southwestern went to a quarterbacking change. They went from Inman and switched over to Crowell. And all of a sudden, they say, you know what? Yes, Crowell got us a few yards, but let's switch it back over to Inman. And Inman is going to take over once more as this offense tries to get themselves going. This will end up being a tackle for loss for the Golden West Rustler defense to start things off. So now a second down and 11 to go. Tackle made by Tyler Williams. He ends up getting the TFL. And the Jaguars have to figure out how to find themselves a little bit of breathing room here. This will be a handoff looking for Anderson. Everyone is there for the Golden West Rustler defense. Tackle is initially made by Neal. Neal and Kofel were both in on that tackle, and another TFL for this Rustler defense. That is negative yardage for Southwestern. They track it back 3. They're inside their own 9. So here's a chance for Inman to try and get themselves some yardage on 3rd down and 14. Looks to get away. He's got a little bit of running room. Neal's behind him. He ends up getting tripped down by Neal. It's an excellent play. Neal gets hit from behind by Souza, and he is slow to get up. Neal is able to get to Inman just in time to make it a 4th down and 9 to go. But as Neal went to get up, Souza tried to jump over top of him, and his knee collided with the back of the helmet of Neal. Neal's going to stay out there, but a big-time play for this Rustler defense to get themselves back with the football. So a punt coming up for the Jaguars as they go 3 and out to start off the third quarter of play. Under 13 minutes left to go in the third quarter, just underway from halftime. Ball is just away, near side of the field. It will be taken by Lavoie. Lavoie bounces in and out of a couple of would-be tacklers and gets himself down to the 46. And that is where the Rustler offense will take over. 12:41 to go in the third quarter. It's 17-0. The Rustlers with short field and the lead advantage as well. You're watching Golden West Rustler football here on SportsNetUSA.net as Retzlaff and the offense hops back out there. Offense for the Rustlers. Taking a look at 2 on the near side in Wiseman and Kenneman. Far side is Ojalabi and Branson. Pitch play over to the right. It will go to Carrillo. Carrillo gets behind one block. It's into the secondary. He's got some room to run. Up to the 30, make it the 25-yard line. And a first down for Golden West. They were at the 46-yard line of Southwestern. That will be a 24-yard pickup. So Retzlaff and the offense going from left to right here in the third quarter of play. He'll take the snap from the, we'll say 28-yard line, right in between the 28 and the 29. Takes the snap, looking for it. Toss to the right. He's got a man at Branson. Touchdown, Rustlers. A quick strike there for Retzlaff over to Branson. That's his second touchdown catch of the day. And Golden West just that quickly is back on the board. It's now 23-0. The Rustlers with the lead. Branson with an excellent route. One quick step towards the middle, sends it down the sideline, and he was out in the open, and Retzlaff finds it perfectly into his arms as he crosses the goal line to make it a 24-0 advantage. Golden West with the lead. That is the third touchdown pass of the day for Retzlaff. And again, Retzlaff earlier this season after the win over Riverside City College found himself with the SCFA Offensive Player of the Week award. And if it keeps going the way it's going, he could have that opportunity once again, as his yardage has looked fantastic in the first half. He's got 3 touchdown passes. He does have the interception, but the way that he has commanded this offense has allowed Golden West to move up the field with a little bit of ease. They've had 6 offensive possessions, 2 turnovers, 8 offensive possessions, 2 turnovers, 3 touchdowns, 1 field goal, and they have turned the ball over twice. But the offense for the Rustlers alive and well. The defense forcing a 3rd and out in the first 4 minutes of this third quarter of play. Back to receive is Bryant. It's going to be booted over to him, far side of the field. He will take it. At the 20, he moves it out to the far sideline where he will be wrapped up just before he gets to the 25. They might give him the 25 on the dot. And the offense for Southwestern will start there. So Southwestern is going back to Jimmy Inman. Entering today, 242 yards and a completion percentage of 44%. Does have an interception today, looking back, trying to get away out of the pocket. He gets caught up to by Reich, and he will be taken down by Sele Pamasa. Pamasa, again, one of the leaders for this Rustler defense. This year, he entered the day with 22 tackles overall, 10 solo, 12 assists, and then he also had 4 sacks and 7 tackles for loss. As Southwestern gets up to the 26-yard line. Goes back to Inman. He tries to fire far side of the field, but Dorsey wasn't on the same page, and that will end up hitting the turf behind him. And an incomplete pass to make it a 3rd down and about 9.5 to go. They've got to get it up to the 35-yard line to earn a 1st down. Southwestern trying to avoid having a 2nd, 3rd and out to start this second half. Reich is back in the secondary for Golden West. He's out there with Malachi Gatewood on the near side of the field, also joined by Lavoie. Prince Ford near side of the field as well as they go 3 receiver set. Down the middle, it will go to Jourdain, and Jourdain sees that go too far in front of him. Incomplete pass, and Southwestern will have to punt once more. So if you're a Golden West Rustler fan, this is pretty much exactly what you wanted to see to enter this third quarter of play. Force a 3 and out, get a touchdown pass, force another 3 and out, and get it right back to the offense. 11:05 left to play here in the third quarter, 24-0. McElligott looking for his 7th punt of the day. Gets the ball away. The Rustlers nearly get to it in time. This will go over to Lavoie. He says, leave it, and then picks it up off a hop. He'll bring it up to the 40. And that is where the Rustler offense will take over. With 10:57 left to go in the third quarter, it is the Rustlers 24 and the Southwestern Jaguars 0. You are watching Golden West Rustler football here on SportsNetUSA.net. Ryan Osborn, Ed Ford, live from Chula Vista here on SportsNetUSA.net. All games here on SportsNetUSA.net brought to you by Miller Toyota of Anaheim. Miller Toyota of Anaheim, if you're looking for that new or used vehicle, go down to the corner of the 91 and Euclid. They've got anything you may need if you're looking for that new or used vehicle going into the holidays. Check out Miller Toyota of Anaheim. Again, that is the corner of Euclid and the 91. Miller Toyota of Anaheim supports and is a proud partner of SportsNetUSA.net. Johnson gets the pitch to start off this offensive drive for Golden West, gets wrapped up immediately, and he ends up losing just about 2.5 yards. Rustlers going from left to right once again in white and black. Green numerals outlined in neon yellow. On the other side for Southwestern, they're in the all black with crimson and gold. Shiny gold helmets here on a Saturday night. Retzlaff drops back to pass, finds a receiver in Kenneman, and he is able to make the catch and get himself up to the 49-yard line. And once again, that dynamic duo of Retzlaff over to Kennewell has continued to play well here. In the first half, over 120 yards passing from just Retzlaff to Kennewell. And they add to it there with a gain of 12 yards. 3rd down and 1 to go. They've got to get to the 50 for a first down. Snap is taken. Retzlaff wants it himself. He calls his own number. He gets into the secondary and room to run to the 30, the 20, the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Rustlers. Jake Retzlaff calls his own number, and he will get into the end zone for a touchdown. And he just shows you once again why he is the leader of this offense. All he had to do was wait for that linebacker to commit to the pitch play on the outside, and he was home free as he got himself into the secondary and used that breakaway speed to get a touchdown. It's 30-0, the Rustlers with the lead. Kick is up, kick is away, and it is through. 31-0, the Rustlers with the advantage as Golden West with a huge play that is delivered by Retzlaff. And the Rustlers once again are on the board here in the 3rd quarter. An excellent start to this second half. Again, they were at the 49-yard line, the Golden West 49-yard line, and they got a 51-yard rush from Retzlaff for a touchdown. Sensational stuff from the QB for Golden West. Again, a freshman for these Golden West Rustlers. Entered today rushing-wise with 167 yards, 6 touchdowns, and a long of 15. Well, you can change that, as he's got a long of 51 yards and 7 touchdowns on the ground. And he is well on his way to at least making a bid for that SCFA Offensive Player of the Week award once more. 3 in the air, 1 on the ground. Yardage galore for this Rustler offense. Bryan is back. He's going to get it far side of the field. He'll take it up to the 20, finds a little bit of room, cuts back over to the 30, 35, and finally gets shaken down right at the 35-yard line is where they will mark him. So Southwestern, their offense, if they want to get back into this game with 9:28 on the clock left in the 3rd quarter, has got to get going here. This is a crucial drive as they march out their 3rd quarterback of the game, as Brandon Smith will enter for these Jaguars. 235 yards passing so far this season. He takes the snap, he looks for Anderson, gives it up. Anderson gets a little bit more yardage after the initial contact, and he'll get up about 2 yards right down the middle of the hash marks. Right-handed throwing Smith, a freshman QB, 3 games played under his belt. He'll take the rush himself, and he gets absolutely blasted there at the 37-yard line and make it a 3rd down and 8 to go. Tried to take it himself initially, got contact made by Elisha Martin, and then Martin was joined there by a whole host of defenders for Golden West. Most notably, Prince Ford as well. Lavoie near side of the field. He's joined on the far side by Reich now, as this is popped out to the far side where it will go into the awaiting arms of Jourdain, and he will get the first down that Southwestern truly needs. So we'll see if the Jaguars are able to get themselves some more yardage after that. Offensively, Terry Wright actually makes that catch and gets a total gain of 14 yards. Near side, it goes right back to Wright. He tries to make a guy miss, and he ends up finding some contact at the 50, no gain, and it will end up being a 2nd down and 10 to go. Near side hash mark. Brandon Smith is the quarterback. He's joined out there by Terry Wright, Kristen Jourdain, in addition to Allen Robinson as well. Pitch play near side. It's going to go to Robinson, it looks like, and he will end up gaining 4. So a 3rd down and 6 coming up. Brandon Smith, this is his first offensive possession of the day, under 7:15 to play here in the 3rd quarter. Southwestern went 3 and out, and finally has gotten themselves a first down. They're facing a 3rd down and 6 to go. Snap is taken. They look for Jourdain. He doesn't go there. Jourdain was calling for it on the near side of the field, didn't get it, and Smith runs into 3 different players for the Rustlers, and he gets taken down. That will end up being a sack, another tackle for loss for this Rustler defense. Jonah Laban was there for the tackle in addition to Prince Ford as well. Both of them making the stop for the Rustlers. And again, these Rustlers are able to stymie the offense for Southwestern. Southwestern a couple years ago was one of the best rushing teams in the state of California, if not the nation. As the Rustlers full cell trying to get that block, they end up seeing this one bounce up to the 15, where it will take a Golden West hop and stop right at the 15-yard line. So Golden West with 6:11 on the clock, 31-0. They have the lead, and they will go back on offense, looking to try and put this one away early on in the 3rd quarter. You are watching Golden West College football here on SportsNetUSA.net. We remind you that we got other games here on SportsNetUSA.net. One that wrapped up earlier, East LA College, was here on SportsNetUSA.net. But if you're thinking to yourself, you know what? I like a lot of community college football. Where can I find it? Right here on SportsNetUSA.net. Next week, we've got a whole host of games, including the Golden West Rustlers at 1 p.m. against Saddleback, and then later on at night/afternoon, evening, you'll have Fullerton College right back here at Southwestern. So lots of games coming up here on SportsNetUSA.net. So stay tuned to your leader in community college football with under 6 to play. It is Golden West trying to march up the field. They get 5 yards on the first down carry. And Retzlaff will go right back to take the snap. He'll take the snap, pitch it out over towards the left, where it will go into the awaiting arms of a rusher in Gianni Hurd. Hurd hopped onto the field just before that offensive possession started, and he takes it all the way up to the Southwestern. It looks like they're going to mark him out at the 48-yard line. So about 25, 26 yards on the carry on 2nd down and 5 to go. Gianni Hurd in the backfield will take one step over to his left. It goes back to Hurd. Hurd trying to bounce out of a tackle. Does so initially, but his progress is stopped, and he will be forced back after a total loss of 1 yard. This defense for Southwestern has been trying as much as they can to keep this Rustler offense in check. They've had about a 50% success rate, but Retzlaff has been able to just carve up that secondary for the Jaguars. And it just shows you how good the quarterbacking play has been for these Rustlers as he gets a throw across the middle over to Savao. And he will end up getting the reception, moving the chains, and it's a first down once again for Golden West. Savao in the slot on the right-hand side, joined by Branson, in addition to Kennewell. Far side, it's Ojalabi. Taking the snap and giving it up to Carrillo is Retzlaff. There's a big-time hit as he got up to the second level, and a flag is thrown in from the secondary. We'll see who that ends up going up against. And it looks like it was Fuamatu who was there for the big stick there. And it will end up being a hold against Golden West. So that'll march him back. 3:54 left to go here in this third quarter of play. Golden West and Southwestern, a 31-0 lead for the Golden West Rustlers. Again, for the Rustlers so far this season, 24-7 win over OCC, 31-3 over Palomar, 20-19 oh-so-close loss to Bakersfield, who is in the top 15 now. They beat number 1 RCC 37-20, repeat that score against a top 15 opponent in Long Beach. And now play here with a big advantage over Southwestern. Retzlaff dropping back. He's got lots of room to work with. He's going to take it himself up to the 30, moves over to his left, gets taken down at the 25-yard line. No flags there as Retzlaff is able to get himself into the secondary once again, and Golden West with a big pickup. It seems like every time that Golden West has a penalty or maybe they get stopped in the backfield, they end up turning the very next play into a big gain opportunity. So now Golden West is inside the 25 of Southwestern. Retzlaff with Hurd behind him. He's got Kennewell to his right. Doesn't look that way. Goes to the left side where wide open, and having it go in and out of his hands is Ojalabi. Harrington with excellent defensive pressure there as he is able to get right to the football at the exact moment that that ball was making contact with the hands of Ojalabi. Great job by Harrington on the far side. He is one of the leaders of this Southwestern defense. And he shows exactly why. Top 3 in tackles, also the leader in pass breakups as well, and he adds to his totals. Second down and 10 to go from the 25-yard line. It's Retzlaff in the gun. He will take it, fire it right down the middle. Wiseman is there. Does it pop in and out of his hands? He's going to say he's got it, so do the officials. And that will be a 21-yard catch for Wiseman. And now they're at the 5-yard line. So first down and goal to go for these Rustlers once more as they try and get another score on the board before the third quarter ends. Kennewell on the right-hand side. Branson in the slot on the left, joined by Ojalabi wide left. Hurd is in the backfield. Savao, tight end, right-hand side. It will go over to Hurd. Hurd into the end zone for a touchdown. Golden West back into the end zone. And these Rustlers are back on the board. It's now 37-0. So for Golden West, they say, you know what, Mr. Retzlaff, you have had an excellent day so far. Let's give you a little break here inside the 5-yard line. Retzlaff hands it off to Hurd, and Hurd does the rest and waltzes into the end zone off the right tackle. So that is going to bring us to a 37-0 score as there is a Jaguar down on the field. And for Golden West, their offense has just come alive here in the third quarter. Remember, this was a 17-0 lead going into halftime. And then all of a sudden, Golden West with 3 drives that end in touchdowns. A touchdown pass from Retzlaff, a touchdown run from Retzlaff, and now a touchdown run from Gianni Hurd. And that makes it a grand total of 37-0. We'll get word on who it is that is down on the field for Southwestern as soon as we can. (37-0) is our score. Christian Cuffey is the one who ended up having to be assisted off the field for the Southwestern Jaguars as Golden West gets set to line up for the extra point. Cypress looking for a chance to tack on another to his credit. This would be the the fifth of the night for him. And he is able to successfully convert. So he is now 21 of 23 this season. And Golden West extends their lead to 38-0. 2:19 left to go in the third quarter of play. Golden West up 38-0 over Southwestern. You are watching Golden West Rustler football here on SportsNetUSA.net. We'd like to remind you that here on SportsNetUSA.net, all these games brought to you by Miller Toyota of Anaheim. Are you looking for that new or used vehicle? You want that loved one of yours to drive around comfortable, safe, and then also looking sharp. You want them to be presentable, looking nice as they get around town, trying to go to their studies, to work, or to leisure, to go watch a community college football game perhaps. Well, if you want that to happen, go down to Miller Toyota of Anaheim at the corner of the 91 and Euclid, and they can help you out. Miller Toyota of Anaheim sponsors high school sports, community college sports, but most of all, they sponsor education. Miller Toyota of Anaheim, a proud partner of SportsNetUSA.net. The ensuing kickoff for Golden West ended up being a little pooch kick that went up to the 25-yard line, very nearly recovered by Golden West, but it goes off the hands of a Rustler and out of bounds. So the flag gets thrown, a legal procedure against the Rustlers, and they will mark it back 5 yards. (38-0) as the white hat officially says that that ball gets marked down 5 yards to the 30. Instead of re-kicking it, Southwestern has decided that they just want to tack it on towards the end of the play. So it took a little while for that decision to go into place, but it will end up being spotted at the 35-yard line of Southwestern. And Brandon Smith goes back out there on offense, trying to get himself and this offense going in the second half. As Southwestern to this point, no points overall in the game, and they have punted the ball on each of their 4 offensive possessions in the second half. Smith dials up his own number, and he will get brought down at exactly the 35. No gain on the play. Southwestern being coached by Ed Carberry in his 14th season as the head coach of the Jaguars. 207, 133-1. Overall as a head coach here at Southwestern, he's 86-44. But you add to that record the 2-2 record that they have in 2021. He is 88-26, as that is a big-time hit in the backfield that will end up being credited as a sack. Harrison Kofel is there, and he is able to get that. Souza was in on the pressure as well, and it's another tackle for loss for this Rustler defense, who has really performed well. 38-0, the Rustlers with the lead. Smith drops back, looking over the middle. He's got the near side of the field, picked off by Lavoie at the 50-yard line. The Rustlers take it away once again. There's going to be a taunting penalty on the near side of the field, as after the interception, Dakota Hart went up to a receiver for Southwestern after they had a little bit of a battle going on the near side of the field and started clapping right in front of him. And that is one thing that college football, especially at the community college level, has been trying to crack down on this year. Talked to some of the officials before the season got started, and they said that they were given a directive to cut down on taunting. So you're going to see a penalty against Golden West, unsportsmanlike conduct going against Dakota Hart. And a first down to go for Golden West with another interception to their credit. That is their second of the day. This time it goes to Lavoie, and he is able to get the Rustlers the football once more. And it looks like Golden West is going to make a change at QB. Gabe Friend will end up taking over for this Rustler offense. Near side of the field, Aquanzik Anderson will take over. A full change for this Rustler offense. Johnson is in there as the running back. Wiseman in the slot on the far side of the field. Snap is taken. It will go to Friend. He looks for Johnson. Off the delay, he's able to truck two different guys and get himself all the way to the 48-yard line. A strong man's run right up the middle for Johnson, and he gets himself a gain of 15 yards on the play. Far side of the field for the Rustlers is Javon Williams. So near side is Anderson. In the slot on the far side is Wiseman, and then Williams is out wide to the left. Snap gets taken. Johnson, right side. He's got a little bit of room. He gets past the initial block at the 50, and he will get himself up to the 48-yard line. Under a minute to play here in the third quarter, as the Rustlers look like they are going to be content to walk this to the sideline and take us to the end of three. 38-0. The Rustlers with the lead over Southwestern. You are watching Golden West Rustler football here on SportsNetUSA.net. Ryan Osborn joining you alongside Ed Ford from Chula Vista as we take a look at this Rustler offense and defense who has performed spectacularly in this one so far. 38-0 is our score. And if you look at this Rustler offense, you see that they're rolling. They have been able to move to all of their number twos on the depth chart now and get themselves a little bit of extra breathing room in this second half. But not only that, you look at this Rustler defense. They forced 2 turnovers. They have consistently not allowed for Southwestern to get yardage when they really need it. You're looking at Southwestern, who all day has been plagued with having to look at 3rd down and 8, 3rd down and 9, 3rd and 11. And it's really tough if you're the Jaguars to try and get yourself some additional yardage and move the chains when you're facing those really long 3rd down opportunities. And it has shown so far today as the Southwestern Jaguars have only converted on 4 third downs off the top of my head, if I'm remembering right. One of them here in the third quarter, and then 2 in that second quarter of play towards the back half of it. Friend will send one guy in motion. That's Johnson. Hands it right back up the middle. He's got another big gain coming up, and it's going to go all the way up to the 27-yard line as he gets brought down after a big gain. You see it there, gets up into the secondary, and he gets taken down after another big gain right back up the middle. That's the one thing about Johnson we've seen from him so far. Johnson this year, 39 rushes, 153 yards entering today. That's going to change as he's got himself about 45 to 50 yards to his credit in this game. Johnson once again, Johnson off right guard, and he will end up getting taken down. Another gain for him. That is nice. Off first down, it's 5. 9:53 left to go in the third quarter. Saddleback and San Diego Mesa tied at 14. Again, Saddleback is the team that Golden West will end up facing next week. Thank you to Ed Ford for the out-of-town score. And for the Golden West Rustlers, again, they will face Saddleback in their next home game. A 1 p.m. start as this will be handed off. Back to Johnson. Johnson in the clear. He makes a move up to the 5, to the 4. Is he in? He will be at the 1-yard line. The officials say that he was brought down just before the end zone, and you can see it there. He looked like he may have flipped over top of a defender. The officials say no, he got the 1. And now Golden West with Friend is going to try and rush it in. He gets some help from behind by Johnson, gets stacked up at the line of scrimmage, and he will get no gain. So Golden West changing what their attack looks like on offense, switching over to Johnson and just feeding him right up the middle of the field, and he has rewarded them with 3 different carries of more than 12 yards. He had 1 for 15, 1 for over 20, and 1 for about 18. Johnson goes into motion to the left-hand side. He's going to take the handoff, and he will get into the end zone. Golden West gets on the board again. Touchdown, Rustlers. 44-0. These Rustlers and Coach Nick Mitchell have got to be pleased with how they have performed in this game so far, as the Rustlers take a 44-0 advantage. They look to tack on yet another extra point with 13:01 left to go in the fourth quarter. Ball goes up into the air. It's good. And Cypress once again is able to get another extra point right on through. And Golden West extends their lead to 45-0. You're the Southwestern Jaguars. You've got to get yourself on the board, and you will get the ball back here in just a couple of moments. 13:01 left in this one. 45-0, the Rustlers with the lead. You are watching Golden West College football here on SportsNetUSA.net. Earlier we mentioned it. We've got a lot of games coming up here on SportsNetUSA.net. That will all be live here next weekend. Most notably, Golden West Rustler football on October 23rd at 1 p.m. against Saddleback. That will be right back here on SportsNetUSA.net. In addition to that, we've got Fullerton College football, who will be here at Southwestern, back on SportsNetUSA.net. So a lot of games that you can end up taking a look at, as this will be fair caught inside the 25-yard line, and Southwestern will take over on offense. But your leader for community college football is SportsNetUSA.net. And we on SportsNetUSA.net have quite the team that we're taking a look at on Golden West side. This Golden West Rustler football program is off to one of their best starts in the last 10 years of play. Again, ranked top 10, top 6 actually, as Crowell tries to go to the far side of the field. Can't get that to be complete. 2nd down and 10 to go. Defense chant coming from the Rustler sideline. Here's a deep pass over to the near side to Dorsey, and it's in and out of his hands. Incomplete passes. Dorsey tried to catch up to it. It was just about a half stride in front of him, and Dorsey would have absolutely been in the clear if he makes that catch. 12:51 on the clock. 45-0 is our score. Live from Southwestern and Chula Vista. Ryan Osborn, Ed Ford on the call here is the Southwestern Jaguars just not having the start that they would have liked to the third, and now into the fourth. Under 12:50 to play. This will be Crowell on the far side of the field looking for a little bit of running room. He's got the first down, and he will end up getting a gain of 14. Little extra on the play, and after the end of the play, there will be additional yardage tacked on, as after being brought down, Crowell got tagged at the very end. Looks like by Marquise Brown Leonard. Is that going to be against Southwestern? And it looks like it is. Personal foul against Southwestern after the end of the play, and it will actually mark it back a total of 15 yards. So that is big. It is a first down, though. It was after the end of the play. But Crowell gets brought down, and then Marquise Brown Leonard goes in to try and pull someone off the pile. Initially, it looked like he tried to down a guy in Crowell, just to make sure that he was down. And then all of a sudden the official throws the flag and it ends up going against Southwestern. Crowell trying to find some open space, can't do so successfully, and it will be a loss of 2 yards. 2nd and 12 coming up. 2nd down. So Crowell will go back into the backfield. He's got a whole host of receivers out there with him, at least 4. Dorsey on the near side. Goes back, tries to run towards the near side of the field, looking for a teammate. He will just toss this out of bounds. It's uncatchable for anyone. And it will end up allowing for a 3rd down and 11 to come up at the 24-yard line of Southwestern. Golden West again in the white uniforms with black pants and black helmets. Numerals in green outlined in neon yellow. On the other side, Southwestern in the all-black uniforms with gold helmets and maroon lettering outlined in gold. Here's a 3rd down and 11 to go. Crowell's going to take the snap, looks for the near side of the field, has Dorsey, but that is going to be whistled down before the play can continue. A false start coming up against the Southwestern Jaguars. 45-0. The Golden West Rustlers with the lead, 11:48 left to go in this one. Not having allowed a point to this point in the ball game. 3 touchdowns for either side. 3rd and 16 coming up for Crowell and the offense. Crowell's going to go back out there once again. 3 different quarterbacks being used by Southwestern in this one. Dorsey on the near side of the field. Jourdain on the far side. Snap is taken. Smith looking for it. Crowell gets tapped initially. He is going to be chased from behind and gets brought down by this Rustler defense again. Sele Peymasa is there once more, and he forces another 4th down for the Jaguars. Peymasa is the leader for this Rustler defense up the middle, and he has shown all afternoon why he is considered a leader for these Rustlers, and forces another punt coming up. Lavoie is back to receive. This is a terrific Rustlers team that we are watching. Lavoie goes back for it. He will take it towards the near sideline, where he will be brought down immediately after making the reception. And Lavoie gives kudos to the guy who brought him down. So the Rustlers will start up their offense coming up at the 46-yard line. That is where they will mark him down. Nope, they're going to mark it back to the 45. So initially the near side official said that he had made the 46. They bring it back 1 yard, make it the even 45. And the Rustler defense can hop back out there. Actually, excuse me, the Rustler offense can hop back out there. Another quarterback in there. Sam Simmerl will take over. Only 4 attempts passing this season. He's going to have to get this one away in a hurry, as he was losing his balance in the pocket and just gets it away. A receiver was in the area. Looks like it was Wiseman on the far side. and it will be incomplete. 10:57 left to go. So here's Simrel. Simrel comes into this game with only 4 yards passing. He's going to take the snap, hands it off, and immediately getting taken down after, we'll say, a loss of a yard is Gavin Chappelle. Chappelle met at the line of scrimmage and loses 1. In on the tackle was Josh Williams, freshman defensive lineman. 6 tackles this year. He's got 2.5 tackles for loss. Chappelle on offense for Golden West. Looking for his first reception of the season. On the near side of the field is Jakari Embry. Going back to pass. Simrel down the middle, and it's directly behind his intended receiver in Javon Williams. Williams not able to make the catch. That was a shade behind him. And it looks like that is going to be a 3rd and out for Golden West, and one of the first times that we've seen it all of this second half. As Guzman is going to come onto the field with 10:05 to play in this 4th quarter. Guzman gets the snap, flags go flying, and we're going to see things reset here. Golden West Rustlers, little movement before the snap happens, and they're going to bring them back 5 yards. That looks like the 39-yard line is where this one will be respotted. 10:05 on the clock, 45-0. Guzman looking to pin Jourdain back. Gets this one away. Into the air, a fair catch will end up being called. As Kahanu Davis is the one who went back there and made the fair catch call. Southwestern trying to get themselves some points on the board. 9:58 left to go in this one. 45-0, the Rustlers with the lead. You are watching Golden West football here on SportsNetUSA.net. A reminder that we want to thank Miller Toyota of Anaheim for bringing you community college football here on SportsNetUSA.net. Used vehicles, new vehicles, anything you need to get around town in style and comfort. Go to Miller Toyota of Anaheim at the corner of the 91 and Euclid. Miller Toyota of Anaheim supports high school sports, community college sports, but most of all, they support education. Once again, that is Miller Toyota of Anaheim, a proud sponsor of SportsNetUSA.net. First down for Southwestern as Crowell is able to get it over to the far side to Jourdain. Jourdain makes the catch, and actually that's going to be Kahanu Davis. Davis gets a first down, and Southwestern is off and running on this offensive possession. Handoff is going to allow them to move 8 yards up the field. Southwestern running-wise is going to bring in Sean Bryant. That's who the handoff went to. Bryant is listed as a wide receiver for their program, but he ends up in the backfield now as they try and get themselves up the field. Substitution coming up. Dorsey on the near side, Jourdain on the far side. Also joined out there by Davis as well. Bryant goes back, getting stacked there is Crowell, and he gets stuffed for a total loss of 4 yards on the play. And it is Neal who has had a terrific afternoon and evening. Neal with an interception, 2 tackles for loss, and he gets another one there. And Neal once more shows up for this defense of Golden West. Both he and Sele Massa have had a terrific night. Dropping back is Crowell. He gets some pressure initially, has a man open, and it is cut. Far side of the field, it looks like it's Jourdain who hauls it in. And it is, in fact, Jourdain. And that is going to be a gain of about 27 yards. That is a huge play for Southwestern, and they get in to Golden West territory for just the second time in this second half. First time that they have gotten inside the 40-yard line in the second half of play. Crowell near side. Golden West trying to reach up to it. They will get to it for a moment and looking for a couple extra yards. Gaining 5 will be Davis. Under 8 to play, clock ticking down to 7:45 left in this one. Defense for Golden West trying to get themselves a big opportunity and have no points on the board at the final of this one. First time in a while that Golden West has that chance. Here's a design run for Crowell. He gets tackled from behind. No chance there for him to really do much as he tried to move up to his right, and he was being chased by 4 different Rustlers. Most notable of which was Devontae Dillard, who ends up making the tackle. So Bryant in the backfield. Receiving-wise, Jalen Poston is going to enter on the near side of the field. He's there with Dorsey. Jourdain on the far side with Davis as well. Snap is taken. Dropping back will be Crowell. Looks for a teammate, and he's got one. It's going to be Posto who ends up getting a reception. Just enters, and he gets the reception there. That is his 6th of the season. And for Poston, he ends up with an overall gain of about 8 on that play. So now he's looking at 63 yards this season and averaging about 12 yards per reception. Pitch play off to the right, off the option. This is a chance down the sideline, and Bryant is able to get out of bounds inside the 5. They're going to actually mark him back out at the 7-yard line, but inside Rustler territory and inside the 10 are the Jaguars, threatening to score for the first time in this one. Huge chance for the Jaguars as they look to get themselves on the board. Crowell in the backfield. Behind him is Bryant. Takes it in the pistol. He'll take the snap, looking for a little space to run. Gets about 2 to 3 yards up to the 4-yard line, so they'll give him exactly 3. And he gets brought down after that by a whole host of Rustlers. Under 5.5 to play in this one. 45-0 is our score. And it looks like a timeout is going to be taken by Southwestern. So 5:23 on the clock. 45-0 is our score. The Golden West Rustlers with a big lead here. As we take a look at what's coming up for LA Valley College, that will be a 6 p.m. start on October the 20th, as Husky Volleyball will be on the air on sportsnetusa.net. East LA taking on Cerritos. Again, that is Husky Volleyball at 6 p.m. on October the 20th. The very next day, October 21st, East LA versus Victor Valley, as the wrestling squad for the Huskies will be on sportsnetusa.net at 6 p.m. So volleyball and wrestling coming up here on sportsnetusa.net. Both for the East LA Huskies. They will be live here again on sportsnetusa.net. Southwestern coming up inside the 5-yard line. Snap is taken, handoff is there, but that is going to be stuffed by the Rustler defense. Looks like a gain of about 2 on the play. Robinson got that handoff. And they're going to go full line change as Crowell comes back out there. Crowell with Jourdain off to the left. Bryant now goes out of the backfield, and he'll take the slot on the left-hand side. Near side of the field is Dorsey. Bryant goes back into the backfield, and he's able to force the Rustlers to go offsides. It might be encroachment here, as there was some contact made as the Rustlers tried to hop it just a shade early with 4:41 left on the clock. Trying to get up quickly is Southwestern from the 1-yard line. Big, heavy packages there. Robinson in the backfield. They're going to get the snap. He takes the dive right up the middle. He is stopped at the 1-yard line. The Rustlers hold steady once again. So 4th and goal coming up inside the 1-yard line. And Southwestern is faced with a decision. If you're the Jaguars, you've got nothing to lose in going for it here on 4th down. Get yourself into the end zone and show that you can put points up against the number 6 team in California. Coming up on under 4 minutes to play. Crowell under center. He'll take the snap, try and rush it himself. He gets up to the 1, a second chance, a third chance. He's stopped at the 1, no signal yet. We don't have a touchdown call yet, and they're gonna say he was stopped. The Rustler defense comes up strong once more on 4th down. Inside the 1-yard line, the Rustlers are able to stack Crowell as he had 3 different tries to get across the goal line and just couldn't break the plane. Near side line judge came up, signaled that he was down and his progress was stopped in the backfield, but then he kept moving forward, and just couldn't get it across. So the Rustler offense will take over. Now, there's still a chance for Southwestern to get on the board here as Golden West has to get out of their own end zone. They are inside their own 1. Simmerl is going to take the snap. He'll rush it right up the middle, and he's got a bunch of yardage to go with it. They're going to mark him down at the 5-yard line, and a 1st down and 10 to go from inside your own 1-yard line. And Simmerl is able to QB sneak it right up the middle, just dove right forward. Got himself 5 yards to go with it. Little less pressure here for Golden West as they look to hand it off. Instead, Simmerl will take it himself. He moves it off to the near side of the field, where it will be caught. And Javon Williams with the reception. He ends up gaining about 4 yards on the play. They've got to make it up to the 11. Time ticking down inside of 3 minutes left to go. Near side of the field. Rustlers going with 2 receivers. Simmerl ducks out of it. That's actually Friend. Friend gets into the secondary, makes another man miss, and he's going to move up the field to the 30, to the 35, and it's a big-time rush for the Rustlers. The Rustlers were inside their own 1-yard line. They rush it forward for 5, get a quick strike on the near side for 4, and then add about 14 to 15 yards on that last rush. And with under 2.5 to play, Golden West is trying to take up as much clock as they possibly can. Friend sends Chappelle over to his right. Chappelle's going to get the handoff. He goes right back up the middle, and he will get 5. That's the one thing about Golden West in this game, is the fact that they have continually, on first and second down, gotten good starts to their drives. Good starts to their first and 10 opportunities. You see them crank out 5, 6 yards each and every opportunity, every chance that they have. It's given them not only good field position, but it also takes a lot of pressure off of your third down chances. Under a minute and 40 to play. Friend will take the snap. Chappelle over to his right. Ducks in and out of one would-be tackler. Gains about 4 yards and makes it a 3rd down and 1. So 3rd and 1 with under a minute and a half to play. Chance for Friend. He's got the first down and some to go along with it and runs over a defender. The exclamation point to this Golden West Rustler victory that's coming up here in just a few moments. That should be just about enough to go into victory formation. After the first down for the Rustlers, an offensive dynamo is what they showed today. They get a shutout. And you'll hear here on SportsNetUSA.net next week as they face Saddleback on the 23rd, how long it has been since the last time Golden West got a shutout on the board. They get a 45-0 win over Southwestern. They march it down 2.5 hours from Orange County down to Chula Vista and come away with a 45-0 victory. The number 16 in the state of California makes it 5-1 this season. Golden West has continued to show their success on offense. Retzlaff was fantastic. Again, 3 touchdown strikes, 1 rushing from 51 yards out. He had the big play down. He got them first downs when they needed it. The offense rolled at the precise moments that they needed to get momentum. The defense on the other side would not allow Southwestern to get anything going. We consistently saw them force a 4th down on 3rd and close, 3rd and long. Southwestern, anytime that they felt that they had a little bit of breathing room, a little bit of momentum, the defense would show up. They got 2 takeaways, one by Neal, one by Lavoie, and that was key to making sure, actually 3 takeaways if you include the 4th down and goal from inside the 1. Those were key to making sure that Southwestern didn't get on the board. And again, this Rustler defense pitches a shutout here on a Saturday night. Go all the way down to Chula Vista, face a Southwestern team. If you remember 2 years ago when these two teams faced each other, it was a miraculous finish. Golden West and Southwestern found themselves with Southwestern just needing to kneel it twice to win the game, and they fumbled the victory formation snap. Golden West would take over on offense, and 2 plays later they were in the end zone. Golden West didn't need that this time. Thorough game from both the offense and the defense in this one. 45-0 is our final, as that is going to wrap it up for us from Chula Vista. Again, we remind you that coming up this upcoming week, we've got Husky Volleyball, Husky Wrestling, both on the air on the 20th and the 21st at 6 p.m. Stay tuned to SportsNetUSA.net to see what games are coming up for the rest of the season as well. For Ed Ford, I am Ryan Osborn, thanking you for joining us. 45-0 is our final. Golden West moves up to 5-1 this season. You have been watching Golden West College Football on SportsNetUSA.net.